Good afternoon, and we are live. Let's just update that. Yes, we are live, and the Celtic team is out. The Celtic team is out. Let me see if I'm going to get anyone online this afternoon, because the Celtic team is out. Big news for the Celtic team this afternoon. It's like we all said, Palma has made the team. Rio Hatate keeps his place as I suggested he would. A lot of people were suggesting that Rio Hatate should maybe get dropped, but Palma takes his place in the team, and rightly so. The team is Hart, Johnson, Carter Vickers, Scales, Taylor, McGregor, O'Reilly, Hatate, Maida, Palma, and Kyogo, which is fantastic news for Lewis Palma. He does make a start at Celtic Park. He'll be absolutely buzzing for that. And it's probably the strongest team that we could have played. I mean, a lot of people were saying that maybe Rio should have been dropped, but he hasn't been. And let me just see what some people are saying online about the... let's see some of the comments. Why is it not showing me the comments? I'll get it on this. 2 seconds. We'll get what people are saying. There's 15 people online. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Hill says, Diane, no Bernardo. No Bernardo. No Bernardo. Is he on the bench, though? He is on the bench. So when you look at the bench, you've got Bain, Phillips, Yang, Ohm, O, Tomoki, Bernardo, Forrest, and Ralston. And you've got to say, finally, Celtic are starting to get a bench that are looking like that they can come on and do some damage. Because let's face it, the bench over the last couple of weeks, you're like, nobody's coming on, nobody's sitting on the bench that's going to make a massive difference to a game. But finally, we've got a bench. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, you've got backup for the defence. You've got Phillips there. You've got Yang. You've got Ohm. You've got Tomoki, who can also on the defence. You've got O. You've got Bernardo. You've got Forrest and Ralston. To me, that's a pretty strong bench. Johnny Boy's going for Celtic 3-0. 3-0 in the rain. That's pretty much how you expected it, Stuart. But you would have dropped Hatate. I would have dropped Hatate as well and brought Bernardo in. But you've got to play your most experienced players. And I think the fact that Bernardo hasn't played in a game like this, and to be fair, Kilmarnock are going to sit back. You're needing a player like Hatate. You can understand why Brendan played him. You need a player like Hatate to come on and do something special and try and break down that stubborn Kilmarnock team that are going to sit back. They're not going to be interested in trying to do anything the first 60 minutes of the game. They're just going to try and soak up the pressure at Awack Park Head this afternoon. For me, it's a really strong team. We probably couldn't have went any stronger. Personally, I would have liked to see Bernardo coming on at some point, I think. But then again, will Ohm come on? Will Odin come on instead? That's an interesting one because Odin's come on this season already. He knows what it's like to play in the league. But we really do need Bernardo on and getting him game time. So with that being said, let's jump over to Instagram and see what some people are saying in the comments on the Celtic channel. I'm liking CCV back, says Asa. Good to see the tank back in the team. And Lewis Palma, actually. That's not Lewis Palma's own post, is it? It is. Lewis Palma actually liked this. It's a fake one. God. Anyway, great seeing CCV starting back and Palma. Great to see Cameron Carter Vickers start back. Scales playing together. So happy. Palma starting also. This is all coming live off the Celtic feed. CCV and Palma. A lot of people are happy. And I did say that we needed Palma to get a start because he's been fantastic the last couple of weeks. Let's get to the comments on here. Stuart says, John Boy says 3-0 the troops. Liam says, I would have dropped Phillips. I wouldn't have dropped Phillips for CCV, says Liam. Wow, that's an interesting one. Why not? Because let's face it, Phillips cost us the first goal. Although the two defenders cost us a goal on Wednesday night, Carter Vickers has played more football than Phillips, Liam. Liam, when you look at it, Carter Vickers got the majority of last season out the way, where Phillips has only played, his last time that he played a game before he came to Celtic was in about January, February this year. So I can understand why the manager went with him. And I think it was a pretty good shout that he has. But we've all got our own views. And that's why it's called the One Celtic Fans View channel. Andrew says, changes off the bench. changes off the bench. We have got Bain, we've got Phillips, Yang, Ohm, Tomoki, Iwata, Bernardo, Forrest, and Ralston. I'm going to flip a coin just now, and I'm going to say that either Ohm or Bernardo will come on in the second half, depending on how we're playing. And for the wingers, you can toss a coin. Phillips may come on in the second half, depending on how well Carter Vickers holds up during the game. It could be a case of, let's just get another 60 minutes under Carter Vickers' belt. And if it is bad weather, is what they say, you're not wanting him to do any damage to that hamstring again. So you're maybe going to bring him off in the second half just to get Phillips back in and getting him some game time as well to help build up his game time. Andy says, hail, Baz Palmer, first goal. He's looking good. He is looking good, and that's why he was undroppable after the last couple of games. He scored 2 goals, although one was ruled offside, which was devastating for the player. Let's see if that ball hair from the man that has no hair hadn't touched it, it would have still stood as a goal. You're probably right, says Liam. Cheers for that, Liam. John, who's in Wet Fife, says, hail, Baz, good to see Palmer getting a start. I think it's fantastic news. And finally, at last, Celtic have a decent bench, if you ask me. We've got a really strong bench. We're finally starting to get a bench that I think we'll see for the rest of the season, and it's one that, there's players that can come on and do something. Yang, for me, won't last 90 minutes anyway, but he's a good player to bring on. He's got a bit of beef about him. He knows how to defend, but has he got the final ball? Has he got something that final third? He's yet to prove that yet. O needs his chance, but he's never got the final. He just doesn't seem to be doing it as much as what Kyogo is. Kyogo is a big day for him. He needs to score. Bernardo needs a chance. And James Forrest, you've got to feel sorry for James Forrest because he gets a shout a couple of weeks ago, and because the goalkeeper gets sent off and clearing up the situation with the goalkeeper, when it's a straight red for violent conduct, it's the 2-game ban. And the fact it wasn't for violent conduct, he was basically the last man, so it was only the 1-game ban for Joe Hart. Stuart Ramsey says, afternoon, Baz and fellow Tims here. Strong team today. I think it's the right move because they chip up today. It's a 10-point ahead of the international break. That is it exactly. It's what we want to see. Brown Warrior, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, boys. Hope all's well. Deanne says, it's going to be difficult for Rocket to come back. And I've said that. When you look at even the bench, right? Even Gustav isn't on the bench. I think it's going to be difficult for both those players, but those are project signings. That you want to bring in when the time is right. Hatate needs game time. He's going to come good, bucketing down in Cumbernauld, says Andy. My brother sent me a video from back in Fife about 10 minutes ago, and it was absolutely streaming down. Ralston, everyone knows what Ralston can do. Everyone knows what he can do. Forrest, a lot of people don't like Forrest and think he's done at Celtic. I personally don't. I think he's still a player that can come on and change games. No matter what people say, he's got that experience, and that's what we need in the game just now. Let's get back to some of the comments. Andrew says, it's hard for getting 10 minutes. Yeah, I'll agree with you there, Andrew. I think he needs to get more than 10 minutes. I think if Kyogo's not scored by the 70th minute, get him off and get Owen. I know Kyogo could change a game like that if he gets the right pass, but we do need O up to speed. We do need him up to speed. Gale Force in the Highlands, all games postponed, says Jeff. Dan says, I wasn't Rocky our most expensive signing this summer. I think he was, actually. But... And here Lisbon said, sorry, late to the show. You're not that late. It's only been going on for 9 minutes. So we'll go through the team again. It's on the screen just down here. Hart, Johnson, Carter, Vickers, Scales, Taylor, McGregor, O'Reilly, Hatate, Dyson, Lewis, Palmer. Fantastic for him. I think he'll score today. I've got a funny feeling. Him and Kyogo to score today would be an absolutely fantastic. Dan says, yeah, it's around 4.5 million. Rocky was brought in to be the man that was going to partner Cameron Carter-Vickers. And everyone thought that Liam Scales was going to go back out to Aberdeen. The fact that Liam Scales is undroppable now is fantastic. And it's brilliant for us because it only cost us 500,000. And I've said before, Liam Scales is going to be the best 500,000 that was spent since the King of Kings. Andy says, Maida has to make sure his boots are on the right feet today. Lol. Yep, definitely. So, how many people are going to the game? The weather is absolutely atrocious back home. It's one of these days where I'm kind of glad that I'm not going to the game, but I will be going down to the pub and having just seen the weather. The video my brother sent me of his garden, and I'm kind of glad I'm not at the game today because there's nothing worse than watch football in the rain. Yet Forrest is cutting into his right. He'll always be good for that. Definitely, John. James Forrest can come on and change games in the last 10, 15 minutes, and that's why we need him. That's why we need to keep James Forrest. He's not done by any means. You know, James, the amount of goals that James Forrest has scored coming off the wing and then taking a crack from just outside the box. You could go down the years and he's probably scored at least 3 or 4 like that every single season for the last 10 seasons. Anyway, good team 4. He reckons we're going to go 4 today. Thomas, I'm going to go for at least 2-0 today. I think the weather might put a bit of a dampener on it. It's going to keep the fans a little bit quieter. I think it'll be a sluggish game. I think Kilmarnock will know that they're going to sit back, and Celtic are going to have to break them down at the end of the day. John says, what about Kev? Getting a Kev a new van pass. Yeah, John, he phoned me yesterday, and he phoned me last night, actually, and he was like, yep, I've just walked home from Kirkcaldy. I was like, you're having a laugh. Yeah, his van broke down after a day. He needs to get a decent van, man, honestly. But the thing is those vans out here look like brand new vans. Anyway, let's move on and get some back to the Celtic chat. Dembele is best since Hendrick 500,000, says Merv. Celtic 3-0, Kyogo 2. And do you think Kyogo's got 2 goals in him today? With that team sitting back, it's going to be goals from outside the box today. I don't think we're going to score a 6-yard goal. They sit back far too far. I think it's going to be goals from outside the box, personally. Jeff says, make sure you hit the like button. James Compson says, I think Forrest should have got a start having to come off against Hearts. Not James, I disagree with you on that one. I think the fact that when you look at the form that Lewis Palmer's been in and that goal scoring little hint in his eye that he's got just now, I think it's right that we stayed with Palmer. James Forrest, we know what he can do, but you know, when you've got a player that is that buzzing just now, and he knows when he goes forward, he knows he thinks he's going to score. James Forrest will have that in the back of his head, but James Forrest has had he's been on a couple of times this season, and he's not managed to sort of get anything on target. You have to pick the players that are on form on that day for that week. Pat says, folk were quick to write off Scales. That's true, Pat. It's true. We sent him up to Aberdeen and we thought, but then again, when you look at the signings that were made during the summer, you were thinking, is he just Aberdeen level? You know, he never made it into the first team at Celtic, did Liam Scales. A lot of people were saying, give him a chance, put him at left back. It's his favourite position. Aberdeen liked him as a centre back. Aberdeen were itching at the bit to buy the player. They wanted to buy him outright, remember? Celtic were thinking more down the lines of sending him back to Aberdeen on loan this season due to the fact that we were bringing in Rocky, and he was going to be the man that was going to partner Cameron Carter-Vickers. Now, thankfully for Liam Scales, injuries have plagued Celtic. You remember we have been through an injury crisis the start of this season, and Scales has been thrown the gauntlet by the manager and said, look, there's the ball, it's your ball, let us take it off you. And Liam Scales has went, no, it's my ball, I'm keeping it. Cheers, lads, see you later, thanks for being injured, but you're not getting the ball back. Basically as simple as that. Scales has been absolutely fantastic, said Peter. Yes. James Compton says, I hear you, Baz, but I think Palmer is good coming in as an impact player. Can you see him today? Yes, I can see him score today, but I think he's not just good as an impact player. He needs to be given his chance. And I think the little Honduran will prove his worth, just like his compadre did back in the day. Tongue in cheek says Forrest is now just a jersey. Oh, that's a bad one. That's a bad one. You can say the same about James McCarthy, or maybe you're talking about him. Tongue in cheek, of course, obviously. Mappy says, I got the team correct this week. Hopefully deliver what they look like a great against Lazio. I've got to admit, I did get the team myself. I did think that Rio Hatate kind of should be dropped, but then when you look at form and you look at what needs to be done in the first 60 minutes of the game, the first 60 minutes of the game is important to try and get that goal and try and get just ahead, because you know that they're going to sit back. The longer they keep it at 0-0, the longer they're going to sit back in the game, and the longer that it's going to It's for us to try and break it down, and they're going to try and attack within the last 20 minutes of the game. But if Celtic can put it to bed the first half, Celtic have to play their strongest players. They have to play their strongest players, no matter how much and how bad he's been playing at the moment, how many bad passes he's had. You've got to go with the strongest team that you have, and the manager's done that. And he's brought on a bench. He's brought on a bench, which is fantastic. So if Hatati's having a bad game, he's got Ohm, you need to put Awasa, you've got Bernardo. You've got three players that are itching at the bit to say, look, if he doesn't kick a ball today, we're claiming that. We're claiming that we want that jersey. We want him off it. We want that jersey off him, boss. Lorna, what's she been saying? I missed Lorna's comment. Where's Lorna? Lorna make a comment? I missed Lorna's comment. And let me just jump forward. Talking about the best 500. Izagiri. How much was Izagiri? I can't remember, actually. Two strikers on from the start, says something today. I'm missing Lorna's one. Andrew says, get Awata and let McGregor push forward. Why Awata? Because Paulo Bernardo is a holding midfield player. He's a holding midfield player that plays in the same position as what Callum McGregor is currently playing. And he can also play as a centre, sort of attacking midfield player also in the position that O'Reilly plays in. So what makes you say Tomoki is better than Bernardo? Because I'd really like to see Bernardo. You've got to remember, we've got him on an option to buy. We need to get him as much game time as possible, because I've always said that if he's half as good as Jota, we're going to have a good player. You're right, Lorna. Scales has grabbed his chance with both hands and came slot. Yep, Spurs are 1-up against Luton away. I'm going to talk about them on another channel. James Forrest is a legend. I think Palmer will score. He's got an eye for scoring. Hatate will come good today, Baz. I like Awata, says Andrew. Lorna said Scales has been awesome lately. I think we all agree. I think we do all agree. Scales is undroppable. He's one of the first picks. As far as I'm concerned, Liam Scales is one of my first names down on the team every week. And he's going to stay there until the end of the season with Cameron Carter-Vickers. I told you that first. I told you that about 3 games into the season. Don't be surprised if Liam Scales and Cameron Carter-Vickers are the 2 players that are your main defence going forward from the rest of the season. Scales has grabbed that ball. Like I said, he grabbed it, and the manager says, right, it's your ball. Let's see if anyone can take it off you. And he's saying, not a chance. Izagiri cost 700,000, says Pat. Something today, Awata and a little splash in my whiskey. That'd be holy water. Cheers, Pat. Izzy was a great signing for us. He was an absolutely fantastic signing. Right, it is time for me to call quits and get out of here. I've got a drive down to the pub and no drinking because I'm driving again. Anyway, that's all that needs to be said. If you're going to the game, have a fantastic day at the game, even though it's raining. I'm going to be going out and it's about 28 degrees here. Don't want to rub it in or anything. But I'll try and do a video after the game. If not, we'll go live roughly about half an hour after the game has finished this evening. Stephen, you get the last word. Hail from Bavaria, Germany. Cheers to you, Stuart. Have a fantastic day.